Now, in the 40s, I guess it was 43, when you went up to New York City. And tell us about that show, the Chisholm Trail. You played with Woody Guthrie, and who were some of the other people on that? Burl Ives?
Burl Ives was on there, the Coon Creek Girls was on there, and of course Sons of the Mountaineers was on there, and Woody Guthrie.
Sonny Terry?
Sonny Terry and Cisco Kid, and there's many others. That was a bunch that we worked with.
Well, now, up until this time, you had been playing really basically what would be called hillbilly or old-time mountain music, but this was folk music. This was New York folk music.
Folk.
And had you seen yourself as a folk musician before this?
I really didn't consider that I was folk or I was country or what. We just played the music, and my music didn't hit me if it was hillbilly or mountain music or anything. I just played it.
Did you play more of those kinds of folk festivals
after
that?
Well, we did. We played several of them.
I would think that, you know, along about the 40s and after the war, that this music was really hard to make a living with.
Yeah, it was. You had a hard way of getting around, you know, and everything, because like it is now, you know, with the gas up like it is. Back there then, you had a car, you couldn't buy no gas for it or tires or anything. You had to get stamps to do that, and it cut the music down a lot. I had to quit the music and go to work.
And you went up to Flint, Michigan to do that?
I've made that my home, yeah.
And you retired in 1972?
Retired in 1972.
Did you start playing music again then?
Well, me and my wife got singing together, hymns and gospel music, and we went to going out to churches and singing gospel music and hymns, and so we liked that better than just the two of us. Why? Then, but people liked us pretty good, Dave.
They still do. And then in 1987, you got the National Folk Heritage Award. That must have been quite an honor for you.
That was something else.
When did you realize that you had been such an influence on so many musicians? I mean, just about everybody that plays this music today has been influenced in one way or another by you. If not directly by you, then through Bill Monroe and Ralph Stanley and Doc Watson, people like that. When did you realize you had such a huge influence on this music?
David, I don't know if I even thought about it too much, tell you the truth about it. I just played my style and played it, and I didn't even think about it. I'd like to sing a song that I wrote, put on the record. It's recorded. It's a song that I wrote, and I've never been to this place. It's called Heaven, but someday I'm planning on going there. And they tell me it's so beautiful, and everybody says it's so beautiful. I wrote this song because I thought if I got to heaven, why, then I'm going to walk around and see what God has in store for them that love Him. And this, I can't sit down. I'm going to walk over heaven and see what all the beauty God has for us. Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
Well, I can't sit down. I
Just got to heaven and I got to walk around. Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
Well, I can't sit down. I just
Got to heaven and I got to walk around. Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Sit down.
Okay, sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
Well, I can't sit down. I just
got to heaven and I got to walk around. I see people dressed in white.
Must be the children of Israel.
Down goes people all dressed in red.
Must be the children that Moses led.
Sit down.
No, I can't sit down.
Sit down.
No, I can't sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
I can't sit down. I just got to heaven and I got to walk around.
I see people dressed in red.
Must be the children that Moses led.
Yonder goes people all dressed in black.
They give up and turning back.
Sit down,
Oh, I can't sit down.
sit down.
Oh, I can't sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
I can't sit down. I just got to heaven and I got to walk around.
Sit down,
Can't sit down.
sit down.
Oh, can't sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
Well, I can't sit down. I just got to heaven and I got to walk around.
Come, my friend, and let's go see.
What God has for you and me.
I see Jesus on the throne.
Aren't you glad we made it home?
Sit down,
I can't sit down.
sit down.
Oh, can't sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
I can't sit down. I just got to heaven and I got to walk around.
Sit down,
Can't sit down.
sit down.
Oh, can't sit down.
Why don't you sit down?
Well, I can't sit down. I just got to heaven and I got to walk around.
I wanted you to play one more tune here for us, and that is on this instrument, the Jew's harp, which has got to be one of the oldest
Oh, you
instruments
wouldn't
around.
put that on me, would you?
Just give us a little. I know you play it, not many people do.
I don't really fancy that thing too much, David. I don't fool with it all that much. And this little thing I got here was in my banjo case, and I'm kind of sorry you've seen it. And
Try it, just a little bit.
Run, boy, run, the paddle road get you. Run, boy, run, you better get away. Come, brothers, sisters, don't fall asleep. Pray night and day, or you'll sink in the deep. Fathers and mothers are crying so loud. Friend, Lord, take us in your lifeboat. Take me in your lifeboat. Let me in your lifeboat. It stand a raging storm. Take me in your lifeboat, let me in your lifeboat. It will bear my spirit home.
I got to ask you another question. You're 97 years old now.
Yeah,
How'd you live to be that long?
good Lord took care of me. I live right life.
Wade Mayer, I want to thank you for keeping this music alive and being such an inspiration to so many people for so many years. Thank you.
The clouds, they're so heavy, the wind is so loud, the thunder is rolling, bursting in the clouds. Play tell the Savior for what he had done. He took a dying sinner in the line.